Hi parents, this is Mr. Light. And so today what we're going to do is we're going to start our unit on plants. And it's really a pretty straightforward thing. We're going to grow some plants and we're going to talk to kids about how it is important to keep watering them, how important sunlight is, and just some of the things that plants need in order to grow. So a cool way to actually grow plants that's actually pretty simple is to use a glove like this. Now, you can use a plastic baggie if you want to do that. That's another way to do it. I'm going to use, in class, I'm going to use a glove like this with some cotton balls. If you use a plastic baggie, instead of cotton balls, you might just use a paper towel. So it's a plastic baggie with a paper towel on it. Same principle. So this is very simple. What you're going to do is, all you got to do is put the cotton ball in the finger and then put the seed in with the cotton ball. That's all there is to it. Now with this glove, and what we're going to do in class is we're going to put different seeds in different parts or different fingers. So be sure if you're doing this at home with a glove, your teacher may supply these, or you can use a plastic bag. Be sure you label which seeds are in there. Sunflower, grass, bean, whatever, lima bean, and then go from there. A couple of things. We've done this a couple of times. It works really well. In fact, I did it just here in my office. I am terrible at growing things. I don't know, I just don't have the green thumb that some of you may have. But the goal here is for them to be able to see the roots and see the thing actually sprout. So a couple of hints of things that I figured out. Number one, it does if you want it to grow, it's going to need some light. So somewhere near a light or a window would be good. If you tape it to a window, especially when it's cold out, it might not grow because it might be just too cold. So you got to keep it away. In fact, I put it in my office just on the ceiling next to these lights, and as long as my lights are on probably 8 hours a day, that seemed to get them enough light in order to go. In order to just germinate, to come out of the seed, it doesn't necessarily need that much light because a lot of times they're underground. But once it starts to come out, light is a pretty big deal. And then watering, you really don't need to water that much of it. I just kind of saturated the cotton ball first and then I just put it in. And then I never watered it again. So the other thing that I want you to pay attention to is you got to let some air in there. I mean, seeds actually, the carbon that makes up the sugars that make up plants actually comes from carbon dioxide. It comes from the air. Most of the mass of the plant actually comes from the air. It's way too big for a kindergartner. But for you, you need to know that if you're going to tape this to a window, only tape one side of it and leave the other side open. You don't have to blow in it and make sure it's out. Just make sure that there is some air that can get in. If you're using a plastic baggie, don't zip the baggie shut. You want to leave the baggie open and just tape one side to the window or wherever you want to tape it to. Other than that, these things sprout in a couple of days. There's one experiment that I would like you to do if you're doing this at home, because we're going to try to do this in class. I would like you to make 2 of these, or 2 of these, or whatever. I want you to put one of them in a very bright spot and one of them in the dark. So maybe just put one in a closet or something where it doesn't get any light. Because eventually we want to, in another week, we're going to take a look at both of these and say, hey, which ones actually sprouted better? And we can get to the idea that plants need sunlight. So overall, today, we're just going to set this up. We're going to put these in here with our cotton balls or with our paper towels with these. And we're going to find a place to put them. Students in the classroom, if they're putting several of them, are going to have them in different areas. Some of them are going to be in a light area. Some of them are going to be in a dark area. Some are going to be in a cold area. But once we're done, once we see in a week how they go, we can kind of compare which ones did better and which ones did worse. If you really want to go deep into this, you could make several of these different options with the same kind of bean. One has a lot of water, one doesn't have any water, one is in the sunlight, but be sure that you're keeping your variables constant. If you just have the kid grow something, that's enough. But I know sometimes it's fun with kids to perform these kind of little experiments and get them to realize what's going on. So today, we're just kind of setting this thing up. Next time, in a week, we are going to be looking at these and trying to make some observations. We're going to actually do some measuring with a ruler to see how long they've actually grown. If you're ambitious as a parent, you could be tracking this daily with your son or daughter, maybe even in a graph or in a data table, and just see, let's measure today how far they've grown. But really in a week is when we're going to take our next measurement and see kind of how they've done. After that, our third week, we're going to transplant them into some dirt. And then if they're at school, they'll be allowed to take them home. If they're at home, then they can keep them for much longer on your windowsill or whatever it is. So we're going to talk about care of plants and what are the things that plants need. But today, we're just setting it up. So good luck. If you have any questions, please contact your teacher, or you can contact me at likescience2020@gmail.com, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you so much for watching. If you like science and you like this video, feel free to like this video below and subscribe for future updates.